I got a lesson on the portal from Tony and Jay.
Gave you a transfer portal lesson?
More Jay than Tony.
More than Jay than Tony?
Yeah.
Jay keeps up with that.
No. Jay doesn't have a clue. But you know what? He's got away with it for how long now? About 40 years?
He's got a way of making you think he probably.
I think he was doing the games when I played here. I think it's about 40 years. He was doing TV. He was doing TV.
He was doing TV.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
And then they found out he had a face for radio.
What do you want to see tomorrow?
Want to win, man.
Effort, enthusiasm from your guys.
If we don't have effort and enthusiasm, we're in deep trouble. They're good. They're really good. They took it to Kansas, and then they had a chance to win last night. I think Jamie's done a great job. He's got a heck of a team.
Well, they've played a number of games in the last 2 weeks. I mean, when you look at that, is there a way to tire them, try to wear their legs when you're an opposing coach? What's the theory when you see somebody who's played a lot lately?
I don't know. We haven't played in probably since UAB. So I don't know. I mean, we've done that before, and sometimes you play well, sometimes you don't. I mean, we take a young bunch out there to the tournament a few years ago, and we won our first game, and then we beat Texas Tech, who goes on to play in the championship game of the whole shebang. I don't know. We should have been tired. I think we were probably tired, but we played really well. It's so much a mental thing. I really think it is. I mean, you think about it. I mean, when I got it out of school here, I went and played in every money tournament I could play in, which I probably played about 6 days a week, and I never got tired. I was anxious for the game to end, so they'd hand me the money. I could stick it in my pocket, but other than that, no, we played in gyms.
You know, for the majority of your career, you've gotten teams to play to their potential. Is that one of the frustrating things about this season, is getting whatever their potential is, getting them to play to their potential?
How do you know what their potential was? I don't know what it was. We go down, we're losing to UAB, and Keedy really turned it on, and it was more Keedy than it was anybody. He made some huge plays for us, got the ball back for us. I don't, John, I don't know. How am I supposed to know what they think? I mean, I'll tell you the truth. We're watching film yesterday, and I just said, turn it off. There's no sense watching this.
You ever done that before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I have, but not. I didn't have near as much cause to do it then as I did yesterday. It's. I mean, you watch it. You just can't. I can't watch it. So I told them, hey, you guys stay in here and figure it out. Took the freshmen out and got them some shots. I don't know. Before if I did that to those guys, they're pissed off. They came back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
I'd like to tell you that's going to happen now. I don't know if it is. I doubt it.
You've coached, 40 years, head coach. Did you learn anything from this year? Are there lessons to be taken from it?
I'm sure there is, Bob. I'd have to think about it. I mean, it's hard to win when you don't try to. I mean, we got a guy standing out there dribbling a ball at half court. Oklahoma does, and we just let him drive straight line right to the basket, and then they come down and they do it again, and then they come down and they do it again. So one of our guys finally runs off of his guy to go try to help, and they throw it to him, and now 3 consecutive times they make 3 threes. I mean, you don't do that on the playground, man, when you're trying to stay on the court, much less in a college basketball game. I don't have an explanation. I wish I did, but I don't have one. 41 years, I've never, ever experienced anything even remotely close to this.
You mean in terms of...
I could lie and tell you some bullshit. I'm not going to. It's the truth.
When you say that, you mean just like baffling play? Guys who do things that you just can't figure out? Is that what you mean?
How do you let the same guy beat you 3 times from half court? Shoot a layup. Not like he went down and, drove you hard back, got you back on your heels and pulled up and shot a layup. How do you leave your man 3 times? Okay, makes the first one. Of course, he made how many here against us, beat us here. They saw that on film before. How do you do that? I don't know how you do it, man. If it was one guy, okay, hasn't been one guy. We've had opportunities. We had a great opportunity to beat Texas. We make some really, really dumb plays. Why? I don't understand. Because we didn't do that before. I don't know. I'd like to be able to tell you the whys and wherefores. I don't know what they are.
Any idea, lineups, rotations, anything that?
What am I gonna line up and change?
Right.
I mean, Justin, think about it. We were playing really well. Okay, Taz gets knocked out.
Right.
That's a bad deal. I mean, that was a bad deal. You don't stop the play. You don't go look at what happened. You don't do anything. That's a ridiculous thing for them to not do. And so we finished the game with him sitting on the bench, and still really played pretty well down the stretch. So how do you do that at Baylor? And how do you, we're doing a radio show last night and they want to talk about the portal. Jay wants to talk about the portal. And I said, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but everybody was just, head over heels. Texas going to win everything. By God, they got the best players. They went in there and got the best players out of the portal. They ain't winning anything. So, I don't know. I'm the only one on staff who wanted to take Pauly, I can tell you that. But I thought he played hard. I thought we need hard playing guys. Our skill level's not very good, particularly on the front line. That shouldn't stop you from playing. This is without a question the worst defensive team that I've ever been around. Ever. If you look at the numbers, we're the worst defensive team in America according to the numbers, if you pay attention to those numbers. I want to preface it by saying that. But
I'm just kind of curious, looking ahead, you've got a lot of core group of young guys, and not just one or two. It's a good, it's a good amount. 4 or 5 guys coming back, plus 2 other freshmen, I think, behind them in this next class. So you're looking at, 5, 6 really young guys. What are your thoughts with mixing that in with other portal guys? I mean, is there?
Well, we're gonna do the best job we can possibly do in the portal. But we talked about this last night. Justin, they're paying $1 million for a quarterback. How do we compete?
Right, I know. That's NIL, but I mean that's not really.
Well, it's the same thing. You're not going to sit there and tell me you really don't think that those guys that are in the portal aren't selling the fact that they can pay $1 million to the quarterback? Of course they are. So what's going to happen? It ends up being a bidding war. I don't know. Maybe it happened before. I never got involved in all that stuff. But now it's legal to do. So, everybody's like, get in the portal. It's not like you just reach down in there and snatch somebody out of there. They want to know what they get. What do I get? So, somebody says, well, you get this, 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 and this. What's to stop somebody else from going in and saying, hey, listen, we got a great deal for you? How about this, 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 and this? Oh, yeah. Now the first guy calls again, maybe, and they say, no, Coach, I've decided to go another direction.
That's recruiting now in general. I mean, high school kids are probably saying the same stuff, right? Maybe even junior college kids that are.
Junior college kids, I think, can do it. High school kids can't do it.
The top high school kids, they're probably getting.
They were doing it before. Come
Right.
on. They were doing it before with the top high school kids. It just wasn't a portal.
It wasn't.
They don't have to go through the portal. They cut their own deals on the side.
They couldn't put it in the books back then, yeah.
I know the circumstances have changed, but the last time you were in this situation, you hit the reset button and came up with Press Virginia. And it went on that great run there of Sweet 16s. Once you get past this and you kind of clear your head, do you sit there and say, do we need to reinvent ourselves or do we need to go get better players? Is it just a matter of that?
Both. The last time it happened was when we were still testing for marijuana. I mean, that's how far away that was. I mean, there was. I don't. Press Virginia happened for 2 reasons. JC was the best guy I'd ever seen on the ball, and Sags was the best shot blocker that I'd seen in college basketball since Elijah won.
Sags wasn't there at that point, though.
Sags was there. Sags, well, not the very first, but Sags was there shortly after.
Right.
But Elijah was back there. We had 3 guys that we substituted back and forth back there. Had Deb back there. Nate was back there some.
Holding on the ball.
No, Beck's nephew was back there.
Randy.
Right.
And he was probably the best shot blocker of the group that we had back there. But then when Sags came, it was a totally different deal.
When you had kids coming to play Press Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of had that label. I mean, you sit there and say, well, look at the
I
reality.
don't know, John. We did and we didn't. I mean, the story about me going in at 8 o'clock in the morning and watching JC pressing full court by himself, a one-man press, that's the gospel truth. And I was like, we're just coming off of all the mess that, was there before. And I'm like, I'm going to take that guy. I don't care if he makes a shot or not. I'm taking that guy. So we take JC. Nate Adrian was a heck of a player. Nate doesn't get near the due that he deserved. I mean, because he could play a lot of spots, and play them well. And so we have those pieces. Daxter Miles is as good an athlete as we've had here. He wasn't as dedicated as JC, but he was a hell of a player.
So what you did was based on the best thing, your personnel. That's what
I always do.
So you look at this now, you kind of...
I've never been at a place, John, where I could select. I've always been at places where I had to recruit the best available. And so when you recruit the best available, you don't come in and say, hey, we're going to run this, because they probably can't. We're going to take a look at what you do well, and we're going to try to accentuate the positive. That's how I've coached my whole career. I've been very fortunate. I mean, like the one year I get Kenyon, I get DeMar, I get Pete Michael, Jermaine Tate transfers in. That was probably one of the very few times that anything like that happened.
The good news is in basketball, you don't need many guys to get right. You get a couple good guys and
Who says that?
Well, I mean, it's not like football where you need a bunch of guys. You get a couple good guys, you can get right pretty quick. You can point to many instances where that happens.
There's many instances when it doesn't happen too.
True.
All you need is some. I mean, Kenyon broke his leg. We're the best team in the country, and it wasn't even close. And nobody argued with it. We were so far better than everybody else, and he broke his leg. How do you? I didn't have another one to put in there. Donald Little had one eye.
This can get fixed?
Yeah.
In one off season, or is this going to? What are your thoughts on that?
No, we'll fix it. We'll fix it, but it's not as simple as sticking your hand in a sock and pulling somebody out. I mean, that's the way everybody wants to make it look like it is. It's not that at all. And when you have as few scholarships as we have, you got to get the right guys. You got to get the guys who fill the needs that you have.
A lot of homework, evaluation.
It's watching a lot of film. So it's watching a lot of film, but you know what? You can watch 3 games and some guy's terrific, and then you just didn't watch these other 2 and he sucked.
Yeah.
So it's not. I mean, we act like it's the save all. It's not. I mean, it's not. You're taking a chance. You don't know. I would have never ever thought this would happen. I mean, I told you when we started the season, we got 3 guys who can really make shots. And all of a sudden, none of them are making any. And we shoot it a lot. I mean, we shoot it more with this team than probably any team that I've ever coached.
The young bunch that you got, do you think this will be a bunch that will stick it out, will continue to work, get better, hang around? What are your thoughts?
I had meetings with all of them yesterday, and I heard nothing but that from them. I mean, the reality is it's kind of like we recruited Truck and Kevin Jones, and I said to KJ, I'll never forget, I put my arm around KJ when they were going back home, and I said, this West Virginia, Morgantown, it's a whole lot better than what you thought it was, isn't it? He said, Coach, I could have never imagined. I could have never imagined. So, a lot of it's getting them here. But you line us up with a lot of like other people, they're like, I think I want to go to West Virginia because they don't know anything about it. So we've got to work like crazy to get them here, to let them see what we have, to let them see the opportunities that they have, to see, the fan base that we have.
Well, we're going to talk to Taz here in a few minutes. So a couple comments on Taz, your thoughts on the season he's had. Obviously, he's had some tough breaks.
He's had some really tough breaks. I think Taz started out the season and he sprained his ankle, and he's just had like one thing after another. It's just been it's sad to see a guy who's put the time and effort in that he has and hasn't been able to play to his fullest. I tell you, he fought the concussion. I mean, we had to keep like, relax, slow down. He wanted to play. He wanted to play. It's just things happen like that. They're unfortunate.
All your seniors walking tomorrow.
As far as I know, yeah.
You referenced the run a few years ago, that younger group in the conference tournament. Is there anything that kind of leads you to believe this team? I know it's not necessarily the same youth factor, but is there anything that leads you to believe that you can do some damage in the conference tournament? You played pretty well until that Oklahoma game.
I can remember Jordan McKay running a team and running it well. I can remember Emmett Matthews stealing a ball and going down and dunking it over top of a guy. I can remember how hard and how committed those guys were to winning. I don't know. You can always look back. Everybody's always better, after the fact. Actually, people think I was a pretty good player. That's well after the fact. They never saw me play. We were lucky. We were lucky. I went to see Tariq, and I said to the coach, I'm like, Coach, how well does he shoot it? He said, I wouldn't call that his best quality. I'm like, so he doesn't shoot it very well? He goes, no. I said, well, how's he handle the ball? Okay. I wouldn't say great. How well does he pass it? He said, Coach, let me tell you this. We're going to go in the gym. There'll be about 30 guys in there. Some of them still have their work boots on. You can pick any 4 you want and put him on Tariq's team, and he'll win every single game. I said, I'll take him. And we pretty much did.